I was all set for writing a chapter on it, but I wanted to do proper research, so I've delved into psychology, and it's changed my mind. I've realised that actually it is a tool, but it's often misused, and it's not backed up by science. And so I've changed the way that I've written that topic, but it's been a 2-month diversion because I've really gone into psychology, and the multi-potentialite part of me has gone, oh my God, I need to become a psychologist. And I've had to
it's
go,
the latest thing.
No.
You can't add that.
It's really good that you can, deep dive into this, because the book isn't going to be a deep dive.
Yeah.
The idea of the book is that it's going to be it's going to explain why I believe the tools are useful, and give you a tool to actually find out the information, but then it's going to say, if you want to deep dive into this, read this book.
But that's great because people know that you know about it, and they know where to go next, because they might say, that was great, but chapter 7, I need more.
Yeah,
and
that's
so you
the
can
thing.
Point them in the right
because the thing is that I'd love to. I mean, I started writing the chapter on personality profiling, because it's fascinating, because we are all unique, and you can't box people into types. Not entirely, but the human spirit and the human being is so you couldn't analyse all humans without boxing them in some way, in grouping them in some way. It's like saying, everybody who's got anxiety disorder will all have slightly different symptoms. So it's, anything, any group. Books, right? So if you've got, books are all a thing. We all know what books are.
They're all books.
But every single one of those books is very different. Exactly. So you're like, how can you group them together? Well,
they're all books.
They're loose couplings.
Yeah.
So the psychological profiling is really useful to give you some very broad ways in which people who are similar to you also display different behaviours and thought patterns, and I've loved it. I've gone down a mine hole, but I've managed to sort of encapsulate it, I think, in a fairly succinct chapter. But then I'm just trying not to put in too many citations. But I'll recommend a few books, and maybe I'll end up having to, I don't know, set up a
go off
a
for
blog
5 years
or
on
something.
psychology.
I know, I can't do it, but I'd love to.
It's great to have those options, though. And I think that authenticity, that passion, that will come across in the writing. People know when you care. If you read something when somebody's really written with passion, or they perform with passion, even if you don't agree with it, or even if you don't say that's my way, you're like, oh, that's good. That's impressive.
There's a lot of people out there who are talking absolute waffle, but they're doing it so convincingly that people will believe almost anything if it's said.
See, that's fascinating. No, that's very fascinating. I remember charismatic. I remember a really good thing I read on leadership once, and they said you got to be careful of the person who says all the right things and who's doing all the loud things. It's the person who puts does a little quiet ear and has the reassuring touch and all that. They're the real leaders. You don't need somebody saying look at me, because the thing is they can be very convincing and very wrong. And that's not good.
No.
So you could even say with some things we talked about, some of the way people look at mental health and things like that, very loud, convincing arguments made by people that maybe don't even know what they're talking about. Maybe this might be a smaller, more grassroots way. So start with yourself, get to know yourself a bit better. And then maybe you can look at some of these other issues in a different way.
Because ultimately, you'll find some answers in there. And the other thing I cover in the book is talking about habits. And routine, and analysing your routine is immense, because we are what we do repeatedly is a famous quote.
Definitely.
And I looked at my routine and I went, well, I sleep in till 12 o'clock and then I get up and I panic about the things that I didn't do in the morning. And then when I do get round to doing the things that I should have done in the morning and then I've spent time panicking about, then I do them very rushed, because then I have things that I have already committed to do later on. And, this is why I was a totally ineffective wife for a long period.
Not anymore.
Well, Well, I think my husband might kind of have things.
We'll have to get him on and he can have his side of the story.
Oh God, don't. We are personality profile opposites. I am the extrovert, he's an introvert.
Fascinating.
He's science, data and accuracy, and I am ideas and creativity and woolly boundaries when it comes to, and we have some amazing debates. They've turned into arguments more often than not, but recently, again, because the fact that I've become more in control of how much I feel about things.
Yes.
We can have debates a lot.
You can be a bit more kind of logical and calm.
I'm not likely to run out of the room and go, "Oh, you're not listening to me." Now I'm like, "No, whoa, give me your point of view."
That could be a challenge for him.
I think I am becoming a challenge.
He's going to have to try
it.
It's
been a challenge, just not...
in a different way.
So, but the habits and the routine, so clearly they've helped. One of my big, famous, best tools...
Tell us what this is.
And I'm going to touch on it in the book, and it wasn't a thing, is bullet journaling. Mm-hmm. And I will give you a link to put onto your podcast.
Sure.
Basically, I discovered a system that was invented by a guy in America. I can't remember his name, I feel awful. But he was diagnosed with ADHD, mm-hmm. and he was told that it would really help him if he made notes on things and he put the things down that he needed to do, because he's monkey mind, no attention span. I really think the bipolar is fairly close to ADHD in some ways. It's more of a mental ADHD than physical. Mm-hmm. But he was told that if you kind of put some sort of structure in, but he tried lots of different planners. You can buy planners that tell you if you write this down and do this every day, you'll be a successful person. But he was like, but how many times do we buy the planners and we do it for a week, but because it doesn't fit with us, then we just throw it away. Or even diaries. Because I'd not write anything in for a week, I wouldn't carry it with me. I'd never use it. So I got into bullet journaling, which...
it's colourful.
It's basically...
It's colourful.
It is a diary.
Look at that.
It's a
You've
diary.
Got to turn that around. We've got to see some of that.
So,
look at that. Come on. Show us some of that colour.
It might have... So it's just a planner where you put in every day. You just put in...
You can't see this. There's greens, there's purples.
Lists.
Oh, the stickers.
The stickers. Oh my God, it does.
It's happening. Is that a graph?
Yeah, so basically, it's all just a way of charting down the things that you need to do, to-do lists, tick them off, and then things like, I discovered things called habit trackers, which are basically you have a tracker, a monthly tracker, where you put down the behaviours and the activities that you want to make sure that you're doing, and the good things. And so if you've got so for me, I was like, I need to make sure I'm up and out of bed at a certain time. I know I could sleep forever, and partly that was avoidant. It was a behaviour because I'd been depressed and anxious. If I slept, then I didn't have to deal with that feeling.
I'll just go to sleep instead.
And I'm still battling with that in a way, because it's become a habit.
It is because you have to do it every night.
Yeah.
You never quite master it.
No, it's a habit that I've got into. So now I've got things in there like make sure you get up at a certain time. I've got my medications in there that I need to take. I've got do some exercise. I need to make sure I do 3 sessions a week. I've got at the moment I've got do 20 press ups.
Nice.
A day.
Nice.
Because I can't do press ups. I'm so on the knees.
But you're going for 20.
Well, no, it should be 30 because it's 3 sets of 10.
See, I can help you with this. I'm going to put it on the spot now. Don't do 20 press-ups.
Don't do 20?
Do 1.
Do 1?
And the next day do 2. And then do 3.
I can do 1.
And you'll be because then, think of it this way, right?
Yeah.
You get a personal best every session.
Yeah.
And you're only ever 1 more than the last one.
Oh, my personal trainer might see the improvement there.
I got up to 70 and then I struggled. But
then you can't fit it into your day then.
I know, it starts taking 5 minutes.
1,000 press-ups.
But try it.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to scribble that out and put 1.
So you got different colours. Why is it 2 colours?
I've just colour coded it just to make it easier to look at. I personally found it quite, therapeutic.
Great.
But the other reason that probably some of the other things is in the books I've read talked a lot about mindfulness and gratitude, and these are really big buzzwords going on. And I was I was like, oh,
what does that mean to me?
Sounds like some sort of woolly theory. But actually I thought, well, I'm tracking other things in my day, so why don't I try and think of one thing every day that I'm really grateful for? And actually you do, sometimes you have to really think about it if you've had a tough day, but it does reaffirm those. I've actually added my other side in, because I'm a bipolar type person. I also have a daily gripe as well. If something's just annoyed me for no apparent reason, I'll put it down on my gripes list, and then it's like, I've done it now. There, it's down. It's gone now.
But that's helpful. There's a talk about an old Buddhist phrase, and it's talking about two people walking down to the river carrying these big heavy pots, and then they're both really heavy, and they put them down and they get rid of the water, and then they're nice and light on the way back. But on the way back, the second guy just keeps saying, "It was so heavy, wasn't it? It was so heavy." And eventually the second guy goes, well, I left mine back at the river. Oh! Like, get over it. It was heavy 2 hours ago. Yeah. Now it's light. And it's the same thing, isn't it? Just get it out. Don't carry it around. Get it out. Get it down there.
Writing something down also, psychologically, it puts a thought into an action.
It does. Yeah.
Which then creates deeper and better neural pathways.
It does, yeah.
So, if you've got a task that you need to do, put it down.
And it's worth pointing out, isn't it? That's why it's always good to write with your hand.
Yeah, actually write it.
Because you've actually had to form.
Thought about doing a digital one because I love my iPad. I even have an iPad with the pencil. Still not as satisfying to me for some reason.
No.
Other thing is I also take stock at the end of the month of things that I've achieved. So like I have an April review.
Brilliant. So how are you getting on?
In here I'll say I've got a column that says I listen to, so that'll be like podcasts and music.
All the different aspects.
Yeah, things that I achieved in that month, things that I felt, what my weight did, how many calories I burnt, where I went, what I loved doing, what I watched, what I read, and it's just a way of looking back and just solidifying things. And because so often we're grateful and we're happy and we're enjoyed by lots of things, but we forget
and
them.
It passes. Exactly.
It's gone. But if you some way put that down, I mean, I can look back at my books now. I'd never filled a notebook from cover to cover until I started doing this.
That's satisfying.
And at the end of the year, I had a book which was my life of that year. Last year I got one stolen. I got to September.
Who would steal a bullet journal?
They stole my entire handbag from a church. I was performing in a church and they came in and swiped my handbag.
I thought you were
and I wasn't sad about my cards or anything. I was sad about my book.
Wouldn't you? It's like someone stole your childhood photos or something.
And then at the back of the book, I like the Me-ology stuff. When I say collating the information together and make it and keep, and then I'm going to advocate you keeping that in some way. So I've suggested bullet journaling at the back. It's not for everybody, but I really do believe in the tool. So at the back of the book, I've collated all the information. So I've got my values and my strengths are on hand in a flip out format.
Great.
So at any time, if I've got a task that I don't want to do, like I said, I can then go, how can I make one of these work? And then strengths, just to remind yourself. I then I've got stuff to do with personality profiling, the things that I tend towards and are likely to be my strengths. How can I utilise them? I've also got like little things to watch out for. I need to watch out for. Good. Sometimes I can lack focus. Sometimes I can get stressed easily at times, and I think it's good to have those things there, just to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, things aren't feeling right. Yeah. What's right?
What can I do about it?
That's not fitting with my values. I need to overthink that. I'm clearly not tapping into my strengths. So it's a tool. And the whole book is about tools. It's about giving you little exercises that will give you a bit of solid information that you can then use. Because your strengths and even your weaknesses in some way, they're like they're your superpowers and your kryptonite. They're
what you've got, so use them.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this video and want to find out more, I'm here on kataholos.co.uk. So click on the link below and you can see here's our values, and you can either subscribe to our newsletter and become one of our subscribers, or you can click on the 10-week course to go to learn more. Here it is, gives you all the information you need.